I do know I'm live. And just getting my thoughts together. It's kind of weird. I'm watching my own stream being live on YouTube. All right. Well, I'm not watching it, but cool. My audio quality is shit. Or video, I should say. Audio looks fine. Video looks terrible. All right. So the topic of tonight's chat is online dating. I've been mostly trying to take an academic point of view of this. Try different techniques and tactics over the course of a few, well, I guess it's been about a month now. So it's not like I have years of experience on this. But I also think that these few weeks of experience are a good sample size. So I'm also trying to see if anybody's going to join this. I don't see anybody else. Joining us, but that's fine. That's fine. It is a Monday night, so lessons learned. And I've only got a few websites to go off of because I'm not paying for subscriptions. And some of the websites I haven't figured out if there's a free model or not. I have found two that there's a free model on. One is being Tinder. I think everybody knows Tinder. And the other one is called Fling.com, which is kind of bordering on the perverted. If you like free porn, I guess that's an option too. Like more like free homemade porn, I should say. I got vodka. So yeah, those two websites. There's a couple other I looked at, but once you sign up and all that stuff, they want credit card information and all that jazz. And well, unless I get some tips on my channels here, I'm not going to pay for any of this nonsense because for first and foremost, it doesn't make enough sense for me. She's got nice breasts. probably censored on YouTube for that already, but who cares? Anyways, yeah, I've got a couple of websites up, and I'm certainly not going to show some of these things on YouTube because, oof. Well, because, well, not until I declare myself as the a trans woman lesbian. I don't know if I could. Once I do that, I think I could probably share some of that. Here we go, Brooklyn. Little insights. I have 3 broad categories, at least going off of Tinder, of what I see of women on Tinder. Now, we can fill in the blanks with the guys on Tinder. I don't have a catfishing profile. I actually put up a profile with my own pictures, my own location, yada, yada, yada. Just for authenticity's sake. I've got 3 broad. Jesus, Joseph and Mary. 3 broad categories I've been seeing women in. So, first and foremost, we're going to start with the category of women that I selected. I'm going from like the age of 22 up to the age of 50. I think, first and foremost, going beyond the age of 40 is generally speaking a no-go. Now, is that to say that there's not some attractive 40-year-old plus women out there, at least on Tinder? Yeah, sure, there are. But there's significant diminishing returns on that. You can tell I'm tired. I am. I sound half drunk, and I've only had like 1 drink tonight. So I've got a very busy day tomorrow. The diminishing returns on women over 40, I'd pretty much almost say it's women over probably 35. And unfortunately, maybe in a lot of cases, it's maybe women over the age of like 22. Why do I say that? Well, first and foremost, you've got a sneech belly. I'm still looking at Tinder over here on the side. First and foremost, I would definitely say that the girls between the ages of, I'd say my left bracket is at 22 and going up to the right bracket of age 50. Between the age of 22 to probably about 28, I can almost say 100%. I'd say closer to probably like, let's say 95% of the girls that pop up in that age bracket. And which is actually few and far between. I think most girls in that age bracket probably use Instagram since they all advertise Instagram stuff on there. They're just fat. And I'm not talking about like pooch belly. I'm not talking about, hasn't done much in the past 6 months to a year. I'm talking about losing the TV remote in the folds, kind of fat. And that is the goddamn bacon. Hey, man. Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, bacon. Yeah, no, this can't go wrong. I'm kind of giving I haven't looked at dating profiles and, ever really. I mean, not in probably, 7 or 8 years at least. So I've been kind of going over in the past month. And I'm just looking at pretty much 2 sites. First, I'm going over Tinder. And, so the girls that pop up in my, like I said earlier, in case you missed it, bacon, the between the ages of 22 and 50. So I've got a very large net out there. I'm catching everything from the big tunas out to the trash on the bottom of the ocean, right? And the one thing I'm looking at is like the girls between the age of 22 to about 28. They're just fat. They're fat, nose rings. They're covered in tattoos, and purple hair, blue hair, green hair. I mean, it's all kind of blending in together. It's these ocean colors. I remember, you know, a couple of years back, some girl told me, well, they represent the waves of the ocean. I'm like, well, these girls don't understand that waves on the ocean are just the foot soldiers of the ocean. The ocean will always be there, but the foot soldiers only last for a few seconds and then they crash into the shore, never to exist again. And on top of that, these girls, they're snarky. I mean, snarky, very badly snarky, like they are owed something. Now, there's about 5 or 10% of these girls that also have decent bodies, but I think they're using, like Tinder, for instance, just a advertisement for their Instagram pages. They'll just have 1 or 2 pictures up there, maybe some of them like 10. And but then they just have the Instagram picture up there, no information. That's fine. Another category of girls in that age, and since I don't pay for this, I can't see them. I've matched with a few of them because I've just gone through spurts of just right swiping everything that's out there. And there's a lot of Asian girls, Filipino girls, and so on and so forth. We love you long time. Looking for husbands and so on and so forth. It was actually kind of shocking. Single moms. Oh, I'm going to get the single moms, Bacon. I'm going to get the single moms. That's coming because that's in category 2 here. Party category 1 is also where you start finding these girls that are single moms. Now, it typically starts about the age of like 23, 24. I actually saw one, and if I was just a little bit quicker on the draw, I would screenshot these because this is November 1st, 2021. And she's on Tinder, and she put the birthday of her kid is like October 21st, 2021. And I'm like, wow, man, the stitches haven't even healed. So, I mean, we got 2 other options available, of course, and if we give her enough booze, sour that, breast milk, then we get the 3rd option available too. But, I don't know how the stitches are going to feel. It's kind of a little disturbing. So we're starting to kind of run into that too. And also it could be demographic area where I'm at. Also, I'm in kind of South Central Kansas, right? So we're not talking about a major metropolitan area. Wichita is a major metropolitan area around here, and it's not that big, right? So less than 500,000 people. And so, girls are trying to pretend that they're big city girls around here. And, well, I mean, you can walk across Wichita and, at a moderate pace in like 2 hours. So, and me coming originally from St. Louis and then living in places like, Chicago, New York, Frankfurt, and stuff like that. Chicago's a small town. So. These young girls are pretty much just advertising themselves. There's other website, and I'm not sure if it's a dating website or just a hookup website or what the hell. It's called Fling.com. And these girls pretty much just sell their bodies. And that's the impression that I'm getting across the board is that girls are not, from the age of like at least 22 up to like 28 or 30, they're not looking for hookups, boyfriends, or anything like that. I think they are more concerned with selling their bodies. And this online, I guess, like closer to what I would consider like online prostitution. And I mean, is it prostitution? I don't know, but it's definitely sex work. And like this fling.com, and I'm not exactly sure how. I think I was just looking for the seediest goddamn place that you can find, because I remember Craigslist used to have, this is going back from when I was married and how my ex found all her fucking winners out there. Was Craigslist was just full of depravity and mental illness and so on and so forth. And I was like, what's the analog to that? And this fling.com is pretty much it, except it's got pictures. And these girls pretty much sell their videos of themselves, or they give them away for free. I mean, if you like raw, sometimes a little too raw, I don't need to see a fat girl masturbating. I mean, you can see that once, and I think you're pretty much done for the rest of your life. I mean, she's getting her fingers dug in there, probably about 3 or 4 inches before she's hitting anything. I'm like, well, you tapped me out on the sexiness there, babe. But anyways, this Puget Sound. Oh, Jesus, dude. Puget Sound, Washington. I can't imagine the whole purple-haired nonsense going on there. I mean, I think everything that's happening here in the Midwest is kind of spread over from the coasts, and everybody thinks it's cool. And I remember being in Seattle probably 15 years ago, and I determined I'd never live there. And I think it's just, from everything I've seen on the news and whatnot, it's just gone downhill from there. So anyways, where was I at? Fling.com. These girls also, you can catch them from, it seems like the youngest you're going to really catch them here is like mid-20s. I see a lot of girls that are 25, 27 on up, right? Not a lot, a few. And some of these girls definitely don't have much else going for them, other than the fact that I think some of these girls, have found a way of capitalizing on making homemade porn. Because there's a couple of them on here that are definitely young, and that definitely are just, porn material. So kudos for them. If they're going to go into sex work and whatnot, and just be an entrepreneur and all of this, great on them. Whatever. Like if you ever watch The Expanse, season 1, I think, Amos said something like, it's a legitimate career. Well, is it? Nowadays, it might as well be considered that way. So it's neither here nor there, and I don't care. I know that these women that do this will never really be wife material, so I don't care. Honestly, Jesus Christ. I mean, I could be their, half these girls' parent if, Let's see, 46 minus 22. I think that's 20, or was that 24? Am I that goddamn old? Jesus. I suppose I am. So, let's go on to category number 2. And category number 2 on like at least Tinder, this is going between the ages of, I'm going to say 28 to 35 or so. 28 to 35 seems to be when girls become activists. They have all the tags of ACAB and the ABCDEFG plus. They have half their heads shaved. They're feminine. They put the tag on their feminism, BLM, yada yada yada. They got the nose rings, and they are covered in tattoos. Now, there's a caveat to my whole disdain with tattoos, and it's like if these women ever served in the military, and especially for say 5 to 10 years or longer, and had been in a combat zone, it's just part of the culture. To be honest with you, I'm not covered in tattoos. I never really kind of found that. I've got a couple, right, but they represent like my platoons and my friends, right. However, I've had a lot of friends that are pretty much covered in sleeves and this and that and yada yada yada, and they pretty much mark their life in tattoos in some way or another, or it's a way of compensating for not having anything else in life other than war. I don't know if I'd call it compensating, if it's a very good thing, but a lot of these kids, a lot of these girls, I should say, are covered in full sleeves, chest tattoos. They got them up their neck, get on their face, and they're not even hitting 35 yet. That's category one of the 28 to 35 range. They're just, I am woman, hear me roar. And I don't know if it's just me, but how goddamned unattractive that is to see a woman that looks like she fucking got pinned down in like in a cartel den somewhere for 10 years and got tattooed up. And you can definitely tell from, just a few words of some of these girls how they don't even value themselves. They don't even value themselves. They just value the attention. And I think that's what all these piercings are for, all the tattoos are for, all this and that. I think first and foremost, it's kind of a herd mentality to where they're like, well, this is how you're supposed to look tough because, yay, we're now all trans men. And I'm like, well, guys don't do this shit. If guys want to look tough, they just, do push-ups and eat less. And that usually goes pretty wide and far for most guys out there. Just eat less, do push-ups, drink water, lay off the fucking soda, and you're good, But these women have this idea of what it means to be manly, and it means to be looking like a goddamn pirate. Now, to be honest with you, I consider myself a pirate. Yar. But I don't think you need to cover yourself in tattoos for that. I think you just need to have a pirate's mindset. But that's neither here nor there on this story. Category 2 on this girls from the age of 28 to 35 are the girls that seem initially like they got good pictures. They might be a little bit overweight, but they're probably not. They generally look just cute. Like girl next door, cute. And they don't have a list of demands of like, my guy needs to be blah, blah, blah. 6 and 6 and 6 and 6 and 6 and 6. And they actually talk about their activities, the things that they like, and so forth, so on and so forth. They, for a Tinder profile, they actually seem like they, it might be the first conversation you have with them at like a grocery store or a gas station or something like that. Just a very generic. Hey, she's initially not knucking, was a knucking crazy. But, and I might push that to like 37 because, some of these girls, they kind of generally look young as well. So I give them the credit for that. They're fit. They're not covered in tattoos. They don't have shaved heads. They don't have colored hair, and so on and so forth. But I'll keep it at 35. Category 3 of the 28 to 35 category is all of the girls that in the first, there will be a picture of them with their trophies, right? and their trophies may be nothing more than one. You know, they some of these girls are actually proud of themselves that they're like, I've got 3 kids, but all from the same guy. Like, it's kind of funny that we have to actually specify this nowadays. So, you know, because I mean, funny enough, there's also plenty of girls out there that will have 3 trophies by 3 different guys, and they don't remember 2 of their names. You know, the kids or the you know, sperm donors, the baby daddies. I won't even call them sperm donors. It's kind of a derogatory term because these girls were giving it away. So, and you can tell these girls, especially about the age of 28 or so, they start mentioning, I'm looking for a serious long-term relationship. You know, I'm like, oh, there's 28. You don't even know what long-term means yet. And second, every guy knows that means I'm looking for a dude to take care of my kid. Well, not take care of my kids. I mean, you can be the babysitter while I go out on the weekends, and you can pay for all my bills. And in the meantime, for the next, you know, 18 years on up, or, you know, between now and the next 18 years, if you decide to stick around, I'm going to make sure my kids have no respect for you. And honestly, you know what? There's a lot of guys out there that would probably sign on to that and at least suck it up for, I don't know, 10 years. You know, they're going to do what they can to feel like that they're doing the best that they possibly can and whatnot, because it's the guy's nature as well. I'm not going to harp on the guy's nature too much. Ugh. I'm going to message this girl because, Jesus, she's ragged the fuck out. What am I talking about? I am talking about 39-year-old Jessa Faye. Yeah. I'm looking for all Tyrone's children. Yep. No shit, bacon. So that, I think that's category 3 for the 28 to 35-year-olds. So we've got the cute girls. Maybe that was 2. No, I think I mentioned all 3. I've had like 2 whole. I haven't even finished my second drink yet. I've got a hell of a buzz going on, so it tells you how much I've been drinking lately. Age 1 or part 1 of 28 to 35s are the cute kind of girl next door. And even like on Tinder, I'm not paying for it. So apparently when you match, they select you, they pick on your picture, and then I guess you match on them eventually. They come up in your match section. Well, I've got 2 of these girls, and I've messaged them, no return back. And that's fine. I'm actually on kind of trolling some of these girls because I actually met one of these girls because she was like, moving really quickly and so on and so forth. I'm like, yeah, you know what? If this comes out to being something fun, you know, I'm not going to turn it down. And what I say is catfishing? No. Yes, I would. She definitely has pictures of her from like 5 years ago. You know, when she said that she was like, there we go. I'm even looking at her profile now. She added like another 5 years to her picture, and she took off a couple things out of her profile. So I think it was just like kind of a sad story kind of thing, whatnot. And I'm pretty sure this girl was on meth too. She was kind of like tweaking the fuck out. And I'm like, that's fine, you know. I mean, the nice thing was that she paid for the beer that night. You know, I had like 4 beers and she only had like 2, and she paid for it. I'm like, hey, I win, you know. You know, now, was she attractive? She certainly wasn't like her 30-year-old attractive, but I wouldn't call her ugly by any means. And, you know, if it was dark and she did have a rocking body. So I don't know how old she was, but, you know, from like the chin up, you know, she could have used a little bit. And then category 2 of these girls, 28 to 35. Yeah, free beer is free beer. No kidding. Hey, I enjoyed it, man. I sat there. I thought she was standing me up. I'm like, well, I'll order a couple more beers because, you know, I don't get the chance to go out for a while. I'm always working, and I'm like, I'm just going to sit here in the shade and outside and have nobody to talk to for a minute and have a beer. And then I had another one, and then she finally showed up, and then I had two more. She's like, I'll just pay for them all because I was late. I'm like, Roger that. I'll never say no to free beer, And I was drinking Guinness, of course. So she was kind of like, oh my God, the bill's like $68. I'm like, well, I mean, you want to meet here. So, but okay. But hey, she soldiers on and paid it. So that was okay. And then we got 20 to 35 looking, tattooed, purple haired, and supporting every random group out there that you possibly can. BLM and LGBTQ, ABCDEFG, and feminism and this and that, and they got the purple, blue, green hair. Some of them, a lot of them, ironically, have their heads like half shaved because yay, individualism. I've never seen so many girls in my life that have septum piercings. Now going back about 35 years ago, back when I was kind of more in the punk scene, I had a lot of piercings too. I never had the septum piercing, but that was kind of a counterculture thing. Nowadays, it seems like, I don't know, is a septum piercing kind of like what the girls used to wear the chokers around their throats back, 20 plus years ago? I mean, the girls used to wear the chokers around their neck, and it was kind of like, a calling card for that girl's easy. And nowadays, I think it's the septum ring. It's like, oh, hey, let me grab your nose and come over here and let me steer you a little bit. And then you get the girls that are, of course, looking for somebody to pay for their kids because, they can't do it themselves. By far, the largest group on Tinder so far. And like I said, I've got a wide net going from the age of 22 to age of 50. And this might be the most traumatizing group, period. Because when we're talking about the wall, we can see the wall happening in sequential photos on these girls. Now, I do want to caveat that saying that some of these girls at any age, at least their pictures, and whether or not their current pictures are not to be determined, but they're cute and I would say attractive. But a vast majority of them have given up on life. They're like, I'm going to eat a lot of shit and let gravity take its do its job. And you have to accept me. And if between the ages of 35 to 50, and especially between the ages, I would say 42 to 50, but I've seen it mostly, I'd say broadly, 35 to 50, is this attitude that I'm holier than thou, and I expect the world. I've actually seen quite a few of these profiles that are pretty much, I expect everything to treat me like a princess and whatnot, and yada, yada, yada. And then you look at their pictures. The first picture is obviously a picture of them when they're 22. Obviously. Oh, I'm looking at my YouTube video. It's blurry as hell. I don't know how to increase my Streamlabs throughput here. Because I teach classes and I use Zoom and so forth, and it's not this bad at all. Let me see if I can play with my settings here real quick. Camera, advanced size 480. Let's go to 720. See if that helps. But I've got a decent internet connection here. Anyways, let me see if 720 messes up. These girls mostly expect the world, expect everything, and they have let themselves go. And this could be indicative also. POF, I keep thinking it's like puddle of fish. It's not puddle of fish. It's Plenty of fish. There we go. That's it, bacon. Plenty of fish. My whole experience on all of this is that I didn't want to pay for any of these profiles. And also, I usually work like 16 hours a day, so I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate to this stuff, to be honest with you. So Tinder was easy one. You don't have to pay for it. It's kind of simple for the, like, if you match with somebody, then you get to chat with them, and then I got a whole bunch of, I've got like 17 matches now. Like, that number goes up and down every day, or sometimes, multiple times a day, whenever I check. I don't see who it is though, but I can guarantee that's probably all the Chinese immigrants out there looking, I love you so long. Make me American. No, hell no. But plenty of fish. Yeah. I have a set up I'm thinking about doing that. Like, I want to do like match, plenty of fish. I think there's one Bumble, but I thought Bumble was maybe a paid subscription. I'm not sure. Man, that made my picture worse. And then somebody else had video or something on there about a few other ones. I need to go back and research them because a few of them I hadn't heard of before. So we'll figure that part out. Oh, let me tell you about my Tinder profile. Let me open this thing up real quick to tell you how I try to weed some people out here too. Scroll down. Okay, so my name on here is M. Here, I'll even share my screen on this. Let me figure out how to share my screen. Okay, this is my profile. M. About M. Working from home before it was cool. I figured, I don't know why I put that on there. Maybe thinking that it would attract somebody to come over during lunchtime. Retired Army door kicker and hacker. Okay, so that's about me. Not looking for neck, face, chest tats, and sleeves with caveats. Prefer feminine. I don't care about your PhD. Getting back into fighting shape and active daily. I am, any more info comes over coffee. So, pretty much kind of fishing there, saying, hey, if you want to ask me more questions, we're going to meet up and have coffee. So I can open up 5 clasps under 3 seconds. That is a true statement, at least with my right hand. I've had Guinness in many countries. Flaming heterosexual. I'm not here to be your kid's stepdad. And I have to like what I see first thing in the morning, not under the dim lights. And I was going to put the last thing at night, but I ran out of characters. So I try to mix my profile up a little bit there by doing something, by like giving a little bit about myself, but at the same time putting in conditions in there. Here, after about a couple of weeks of this, I might go back and go into just more of an expectations thing. Like I said, this was kind of an experiment. Crying out loud. I'm going to just change my video options here because this is like, my video is terrible. But so that was my whole profile. I wanted to kind of put a little bit of, I want to kind of mix and match a little bit of like, a little kind of social engineering a little bit, but also kind of making it ham-fisted, I suppose. Because honestly, am I looking for a relationship for everything? Absolutely not. I could care less. Now, if somebody slings that wet thing at me, am I going to take advantage of it? Well, unless I can't stand the smell of it, then yeah, of course I am. I'm not dumb. I mean, sort of. I'm sort of dumb, but not that dumb. So, but okay, we're going to get back on topic though. The category between ages of 35 to 50. And I can kind of narrow down I can almost narrow this down to like 35 to 50 or 35 to like 42 and 42 to 50. But I'm going to keep it broad in general because I can definitely say that one thing first and foremost is that you can almost smell the desperation creeping on in this, and it's kind of sad, to be honest with you. These women have been hoeing themselves out for a long time. You could tell that by the way they talk. They're very aggressive. They're very demanding. They're very, I know exactly what I want. And it hasn't changed between the ages of 35 to 50, generally speaking. It's like the same. It's like they stopped maturing at the age of 35. They're maturing like in the sense of like what they're looking for or whatnot. They do not reduce their standards at all. They're holding that line, you know, and they're in the, and I'm trying to figure. I've thought about expanding this out to past 50 to maybe like, I don't know. Does Twitter go out further? Not Twitter. Tinder go out further than 50? I'm a little disturbed to find out if it does. A little disturbed. Okay, 24 to 50. Holy crap, I go out to 100. Oh, Jesus, Joseph and Mary. I can't do that to myself. Let's go out. Let's go out to 65. Man. God, I love myself more than this. Okay, this is for science. Oh, God damn, I don't want to fucking see 65-year-old woman. Jesus, Joseph and Mary. Okay, I'm going to do up to 65 because I need to, because apparently I don't like myself that much. How do I save this? I guess you don't. Holy crap. The first thing I come up with is 58 years old. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. This is fucking cruelty. I'm doing this for myself. I take cold showers in the morning, generally speaking. Not all the time. Most mornings, like this morning, I did take a warm shower because I just wasn't in the flipping mood for this shit. I was like, I'm already cold. I'm like, I don't want a cold shower. I want a warm shower. I take a cold shower just because I'm experimenting with the health benefits and all that and trying to, do all that crap, whatever. Where the fuck was I at? Okay, 35 to 50. These girls are very delusional. And I think about the age of 35 is when they kind of lock in their opinions of like, this is exactly what I expect. I've also noticed between the ages of 40 and 50, there's a lot of women out there that are nurses. And it's almost like you've run into like big pockets on a Venn diagram of women. And that's one of the things that I've noticed here is like all of a sudden between like 40 to 50, all of a sudden it's like nurse, health practitioner, nurse, health practitioner. I'm like, is there some kind of virus going around in the nursing community where they're pretty much saying that they need to go out and be on their own? Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I agree with you there, Bacon. I mean, there's a cutoff limit for me. I don't want to accidentally tear skin, and I don't want dentures falling out on my dick. I'm good to say that that's never fucking happened to me. Maybe when I'm like 80 years old, I'm like, I pulled her dentures out. Well, that's a different story. But, I'm going to play this game. I'm going to play this game because this is just a game. And now I'm worried that, I'm going to find desperation and I'm going to have some 70-year-old woman. Did I go to 70? I think I went to 65. Jesus. Let me cross-check myself because I'm getting a little disturbed. 24 to 65. I thought I had done 22. Let's pump that down to 22 again. Oh, fucking science and shit. I'm not going to look at this right now because I don't want to look at like what's post wall. that's another thing about between age of 35 to at least 35 to 42 is when these girls will put up a lot of pictures. That's why I thought about breaking this up into two segments between 35 to 42 and 42 up to 50. Because between 35 and 42, it seems like these girls put up a shit ton of pictures. And that ton of pictures is kind of like a documentation phase. It's kind of like watching the wall. It's kind of like that slow-mo cam, the high-speed camera. And you watch that explosion happen frame by frame at 90,000 frames per second. And these girls the first picture will be attractive and kind of attractive. And then all of a sudden one kid, and then two kids, and three kids. And then her face got half as wide as like a Yugo's windshield, And then, 18 pictures into it, then all of a sudden she shows her full body picture. And, it's obvious that she hasn't seen her feet from just looking straight down in years. These girls are biggins. And that's the thing is it seems like there's between the 22 to 28 age group, these girls get really freaking big, and then all of a sudden they seem to realize, oh, nobody finds this attractive. Let me change my MO. But by this time they've or cover themselves in tattoos, but at least they thin themselves down. So now they thin themselves down, and now they look like 30-year-old biker chicks. Their skin's all saggy because they've lost all this weight, but they got tattoos all over to the neck, and so on and so forth. They think this is cool. And then you hit these 35 to 42-year-old women that they just stop caring. But they'll stop caring about themselves, but man, do they want to be treated like princesses. I want you give me everything about the Loda. And it's like, oh my God, you know what? No, I can't afford your diet. That's another thing too, is on Tinder, you've got these things, these little tags on the bottom. And I can definitely tell you with a reassuring confidence that if they put foodie on this thing, they're not a foodie. They are a fatty. Just because you eat a lot of food doesn't make you a foodie, right? I used to cook, and I used to cook very well, and I'm not talking about making. Well, I also probably make the best damn hamburger you ever have, or the best steak you'll ever have. But I like to cook. I like the process. I like the ingredients. I like the steps that you have to take in order for a 3-course meal to all come out to perfection. It's challenging. I like that. And the people that enjoy the ingredients, and they can tell you what you put in there and how you cooked it and so on and so forth. And they can tell the nuances between the flavors of the ingredients. Those are foodies. They understand food. They understand what you did to it. They understand what questions to ask if you put some ingredient in there that's usually non-standard. These girls misunderstand the idea of foodie of being a fatty. They're because they eat fast food 7 days a week, that somehow that they're a foodie. Yeah. No. You're a fatty, not a foodie. And Estrella, come on. She's a 55. I'm clicking through some of these. This is torture. She doesn't look 55. She really looks probably 75. You get a big red X. But I don't want to go up to 65. Jesus, Joseph and Mary. Now, between the ages of 45 up to 50, there's I think, again, women go through the next spurt that they realize that, oh, well, I'm hitting the edge of my prime, where a lot of these women, their edge of their prime was 15 years ago. They fell over that edge, and they just are delusional enough to realize that that's not wind blowing in their hair. They're falling to the ground, right? So there's two different differences there. There's a difference between a fan in your face and skydiving out of a plane without a parachute, but whatever. a lot of these women start to try to get fit and back into shape again because now they're realizing, like, holy shit. Oh, that's another thing I've seen. Between the ages of 45 and 50, how many of these profiles these women have said, 45 is the new 25, 50 is the new 25. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't know how to put, you can't only put that so bluntly. 45 is the new 45 and 50 is the new 50, right? And there's plenty of girls I see at like the age of 20, or not 20, I would say probably about 32, 33. I see their pictures initially and I'm like, she's 40. No, she's 32. She didn't age well. And then I see some of these girls that are like 40 to 42. And Jesus Christ, they did not age well. I don't know how to put that any kinder. Gravity affected them in very specific ways and drug their faces down and the rest of their bodies down. So, $57, Corinda. I'm unique. Let me see what this profile is. She just says, I'm unique. She's standing there barefoot taking a picture. Now, does she have humongous tits? She's probably about 5'2". A lot of these women cover their faces up with their cameras too. That's one thing I've noticed. Once they start to age, they can tell that, oh yeah, my face is like melting, like Indiana Jones style. So they cover their faces up with their camera while they're taking selfies in the mirror in the bathrooms. I haven't looked at the above the age of 50 yet. I don't know if I want to do this tonight. Crying out loud. Hopefully some of them go on diets going through these pictures. But the ages of 45 to 50 or so, you definitely see the women start to lose weight and everything, but I think by then it's too late. It's too late. And I also think that's probably the highest propensity of like catfishers out there, because you can definitely tell that a lot of these women have filters on and so on and so forth. And that's another thing too, is across the spectrum. No, there's no spectrum that's, anything from attractive girls up to the holy Jesus Christ, no girls, to where she's got so much body weight on her that you're like, I didn't come out here for a workout. I came out here, for a little bit of nookie here. But these girls, like, I'm not sure if you could have sex with them because they're so damn big. And I'm like, I mean, but they all use those filters. You can tell the ones that have filters on because their face look like they're all airbrushed and flattened down, and then they all have like the puppy dog ears and the nose and all this shit. And I'm like, who are they trying to be cute for? Because they're not trying to be cute for the guys, I don't think. What they can say, melting face, the Wicked Witch of the West effect. Yeah, melting. Yeah. I mean, I lost my tab here. Oh, even this girl got nothing but stars all over her face. So, and generally speaking, though, I see girls that either A, want attention, B, want a savior, or C, they're looking for long-term love using pretty much a Twitter profile, like 140 characters or less. And they're hoping that their pictures. This is the one thing I don't understand is, like, do girls not look at other girls and say, does a girl of any age look at another girl and say, holy Jesus, she's got a butterface? Or did they look at her? I was like, oh, well, she must be beautiful on the inside. I'm like, who cares? Who cares what she looks like on the inside? As far as I know what she looks like on the inside. She looks, like that cheap ass pork roast that you got. It's got like 3 inches of fat around it, and by the time you smoke it down, it goes from like this big to like this big. But it's got a nice, tasty outside because it's all crusted in with 3 inches of fat that got melted on it the last 8 hours. But you know, I don't want to have to melt a girl to find out what she's like on the inside. Because it's a lot of effort, a lot of coal, right? I mean, I have to, just for like a little 10-pound pork shoulder, I have to check on the thing every hour for like 8 to 10 hours. And these girls probably put on 250 pounds. That's like 50 hours of smoking time. I don't have enough coal for that. I have to get my trailer out and haul enough coal out to smoke these girls down to something I can have for dinner next weekend. It's not worth my time. But I don't understand these girls. What do they think? Also, that's the biggest question too. Is what do they think that they have on the inside? When even the women at the age of 50 have the same attitudes as the girls at the age of like 22, of like, I'm going to dictate the terms of all that. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's long been known that women dictate the sex and men dictate the relationship. But they think that they're dictating the sex while they're also they want to dictate the standards for the relationship. And I'm like, but you don't even have anything worthwhile to have a relationship with. That's the biggest thing. You have a humongously dumpy body. You have a face that looked like Spock, that oh, I'm sorry, that was the wrong way. I did that backwards. That's Spock, Spock being in the radioactive chamber. Was that Star Trek 2, maybe Star Trek 3? Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit on that one. And can she actually cook? I would be happily surprised if I ever met a woman that could cook. Anything beyond ramen noodles and what's the hamburger helper. I mean, that's not what I call cooking. What I call cooking is that you take raw ingredients and you make something and then you put it together. And, I figure if I can do that, I may just be in a grunt. Essentially, well, I said I'm a grunt, Now I'm highly educated and I warp the fragile little minds of the youngins at the university. But I learned to cook when I was like 18, 16, 14. I started learning to cook when I was very young, and mostly because of a necessity. And then I found out that, if you cook good food, then it's more enjoyable to eat. Now, I do follow kind of like the Buddhist traditions of like not chasing good food, but I like to cook good food as well. And I like to cook good food just because I find the challenge in it, and it's good to see the outcome and then enjoy the outcome. And it's good to have your friends enjoy that outcome too. But when these girls say I can cook and they can't make a goddamn egg, and I can clean, but they they wipe lines around things. They can't move things around. I'm like, you can't cook or clean. You can't do any of these things, so quit fronting on this. If you're going to cook, I want, I remember going back years back, my old girlfriend, our first date, I took her on a bike ride, and I took her because I used to ride like 100 miles a week at least. And 100 miles a week was kind of like a low week for me. I'd run usually about 50 miles a week, and I'd ride at least 100 miles a week. And, and that was just my low weeks. That was just my, my daily, my week. And I took her on her bike ride. It went for like hamburger helper. Yeah, high standards. Yeah, no kidding it is. Like, I got to follow the instructions too? My God. What, this has milk and water at the same time? What's the world coming to? But yeah, I took her on a bike ride. That was kind of a check ride, and because of that, we dated for quite a while. We did break up for a while, and we got back together for a while, and we broke up again, and then c'est la vie. But yeah, I took her on like a 20-mile bike ride. I rode her hard because it was a check ride. I was like, oh, you're a bike rider, huh? Roger that. Let's see what you're made out of. And and I made her ride her bike. I made her ride her bike in traffic and on gravel and and on the road and downstairs and this and that. And at the end of the night, she kept up and she did a good job. And I reward her with dinner and a beer, and then sex. So, I would like to say, these girls say, well, I can cook. I'm like, hey, come on over and show me your best bread recipe. I don't eat bread, but I love bread, and I've got everything you need to make, multiple types of different breads, and they're like, oh, I'm not that kind of cook. I'm like, well, you have in your profile that you bake too, it's bread. Well, do you have a bread machine? I'm like, well, that's cheating. You don't cook by just following the instructions and letting the machine do it for you. Come on now. Be tough about this. You're a tough, independent, strong woman. And because I basically coerced myself into this for the purposes of science, I went up to the age of 65. Up to the age of 50, though, I know that the fucking women are very delusional as well, and they still demand everything. And can I admit that at least these pictures on Tinder, that these girls, even up to the age of 50, I'm like, well, I might have to put the pillow under their neck or whatnot, and other than that, I might be able to forget them, for time being. Some of them are, at least in pictures, attractive. I'll give them that. But a lot of girls just aren't. And I think I don't think girls even care about being attractive anymore. I know some of them do. But I think a lot of these girls just don't care about being attractive anymore. They're just like, take me as I am. And I'm curious, this is one of the things I've thought about for quite a while, is that I think these girls are just counting on free money from being like pretty much online sex workers, because even like this fling.com, FLING.com, these girls are obviously just sex workers. They've been run through. They don't have much left to offer. Half of them are fat, half of them they don't even show their faces on these things. So that they've, been in that nuclear reactor area for too long. And they're just turning to sex work. And I think there's a lot of girls that even younger, they just think by default a relationship status is turning to sex work. So I don't know if that's a thing or not. Obviously I don't have a huge audience here, but I mean, one thing I would like to see is that we actually get some people to talk about this. I've been trying to actually engage with some of these girls, like, why are you on here? And so, a lot of them don't respond. Some of them respond, but they're just kind of like, they want you to, like, hey, what do you think about this and this and this? I'm like, oh, you're into bondage. Okay. Well, I'm not, but, if you want me to come over, I'll definitely let you teach me, by tying you up, not me. I'm not going to get ever tied up. But, oh yeah, kind of think I lost. Oh, Jesus. Like this girl, Jesus, she's got on here that she's 39, and I would put her at 50 At least 50 any day of the week. Wait. Send them gift cards, Google Play and Stream and Steam. In order to meet them, you need to send gift cards. Well, you know what? I mean, I'll buy them a beer. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm going to Steam. Jesus, no. I mean, she's like 19 or something like that, and I'm gonna verify ID. If I can't buy her a beer because she's underage, yeah, I'll buy her a Steam card. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. I always pay for services after the services are rendered. But lots of nurses. I don't know if that's universal. I think the nursing community has all gotten together and said we're all going to be single and promiscuous, which I'm okay with that too. Generally speaking. Yeah, I'm still clicking through some of Katerina, 57. So I am here swiping to meet someone that perhaps I would have chemistry with. Let me go back. Someone I have chemistry with. I love to laugh, love travel, exploring new places and history is my passion. Is a passion of mine as well. Here looking for my forever. I don't know the emoticons too. They got, some of these. There's definitely a Tinder emoticon series that I need to read up on. So she's 57 and looking for her forever. Is that like the next 3 years, 8 years before she has a heart attack? I am very romantic and would love a partner that would reciprocate the same as well. One last thing, I'm brutally honest to a point. Okay, I've seen that. That's like a default statement for dating profiles. I would like the same in return as well. Okay, you want 57. You want brutally honest? Roger that. Next. The scam. Yeah. Oh, the gift card thing? Yeah, I can imagine that. I remember that being a kind of a scam years back, paying somebody in like Amazon gift cards and stuff like that. I'm like, well, no. And ironically, because I kind of started this because Jesus, I don't want to see that X. I don't know what the fuck. She looked like a fucking. She tried to look like the Joker in a very happy way. It didn't work out for her. That's what 57 does for you. So, what was I saying here? What was I saying? Oh, I started this kind of also because I do teach part time at college for networking and cybersecurity and so on and so forth, and looking into the aspects of social engineering. One of the social engineering aspects, you're 53, you look like you're 70, lady. Jesus, Joseph Mary, show your tits. Can I get on that for a minute? I don't know. She just has a whole bunch of her selfies in a car, looking like she's like 70. But social engineering, I definitely ran into that almost immediately, starting up a couple of these profiles, and they're really good. This is for social engineering purposes and for training purposes. I think dating sites are some of the best places in the world because they really know how to hook a person. And I think one of the things I try to teach my students is that they know how to hook two things. They know how to hook the hopes and your desires, which is kind of the hopes and desires are kind of the same thing. But hoping is that kind of like that latency, that latent part of a person to where they're like that wishing and hoping aspect. They're like, oh, if everything just turns out well, like kind of a lottery thing. Desire, though, is when you start getting tunnel visioned on a target that is realistic or unrealistic. So that's your desire, right? And a lot of people don't know how to qualm that desire from an unrealistic perspective to a realistic perspective. So they're able to kind of draw your hopes into the filter of your desire and take advantage of that really quickly. And even with some canned emails and so forth. And I've tried to engage in a couple of these social engineers on this, but they don't really like to engage very often. They're really effective, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of the same methodology as what am I thinking of? Horoscopes, where they're saying something generic enough to encompass everybody, but with enough little one or two little specifics in there to make it think, oh, that's me. They're talking about me. Oh my God. And these dating profiles, the social engineering ones, are very much the same way, is that they're really good at picking out just one or two things to make you think that, they're kind of talking to you, because first and foremost, the secret to success for the social engineer on the dating site is, first and foremost, they have to get you off platform. They're going to get you into email. They're going to, or text message or something like that. They're going to want to make it personal immediately, as soon as possible. And they do that by what I found on Tinder. What they do is that they turn it around and, they'll put like a sticky note or a note or something on there that, looks like it's, handwritten or whatnot, with an email address or a phone number or whatnot. And that's meant to engage you. And I engaged a couple of these on email on one. I use Proton Mail, so I can make a whole bunch of throwaway emails. So it's kind of easier that way. But engage them on that. And they work, and you pretty much can say anything you want. It's kind of almost like one of those automated telemarketer calls that you can say whatever you want, and it's just a script that kicks off. They get an email back, and then you get an email, and so on and so forth. And then they try to just and essentially they're just trying to make you click on a website or another link or something like that that will start harvesting your credit card information or your personal information or emails and this and that. Yeah. It's very effective. They can probably close the deal. They could probably make $100 off a guy in less than half an hour. So that's $200 an hour, if they're only working one target at a time. And if these Tinder profiles, if they can put Tinder profiles in multiple places or whatnot, you know what? It could be a very successful endeavor there, harvesting credit cards. I mean, would I call it the most legitimate way of making a living? No, but I enjoy seeing how they suck hopes through the filter of desires and then targeting these guys. It works very effectively. And it's also like, if you're training to be a social engineer yourself, you're trying to get into a business or whatnot and compromise a network for legitimate pen testing purposes, of course. These are good things to learn too. And as well as even like being on a dating website, it's good to engage with these women because generally speaking, these are going to be your primary targets when you walk into a facility anyways. You have to be personable, or you have to figure out how to exploit their giving natures or whatnot. So now some of these girls, 60. Tammy is 60. Oh, Tammy. I love your dog. She looks like she came from a John Denver song. I don't know how to explain that. Let's see. She's a good 15 years older than me, so she was 1960. And 1959. 1959, Jesus, Joseph and Mary. We're bordering on my parents' age. I don't need to do this myself. But yeah, she's got glasses that looked pretty popular back in 1986. She's got the hairstyle that looked like it was popular right after the girls got done with the big poofy hairs, and then they decided to go down to something else. So we're dating her about 1994 hairstyle, 1986 in the glass style, and everything else about her just looks John Denver. And then she's got dogs. Yay. I think every woman's got dogs nowadays. Reminds me, if she tries to move you to a different talking platform that isn't her number, what's up? She's not in your state, let alone country. Yeah. I think I definitely, since I don't pay for Tinder, I don't get to see who gives me all the likes. But there's been a few days I just like everything that comes through my, and I've liked on a couple girls that came from China. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, we love you long time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not moving a Chinese girl into my house. 59, Evelina. Well, am I getting out of I'm getting into European. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's good that I don't have a whole bunch of 6-year-old women in my area on Tinder. That would make me kind of happy. All right. I can only do this so much. Adrian, 55. Wine. The glue holding 2020 should show together. There's a certain point when these women remind me of my mom, and I'm not that Freudian. I'm just not. Oh, this girl's 55 and she's willing to have a guy fly her out. Holy crap. Fly her out for what? Because she's certainly not a 21-year-old thought. That's for damn sure. I've never. Well, I just expanded my age group up past 50, up to 60. Did I do 65? God, man, this kind of makes me disturbed thinking about this. Yeah, 22 to 65. I haven't got anybody over the age of 60 yet. I don't believe. Thank God. Thank God. I mean, we could definitely say that maybe at the age of 60, most women start to realize that all is lost. So that's a good thing. Feed me tacos. You, baby doll, don't need another goddamn taco ever again in your life. You certainly do not need a goddamn taco. You actually need just the lettuce portion of the taco just for like 6 months. You'll be okay. Oh, she's got trophies too. 53, Bobby. If you're not verified, please don't message me. Not looking for a hookup. Yes, you are. You're covered in tattoos. She's got full sleeves, full chest. Both arms are full sleeves. Her chest is full chest. She's 53 years old. I'm outdoorsy, bikes and motorcycles. Yeah. Fire pits. It looks like you landed one. I'm tattooed. No, you're not tattooed. You don't have any goddamn real skin left on your body. Cuddle junkie. Cuddle junkie? Holy Jesus, lady. You'd be like cuddling a goddamn hairy biker somewhere. What the fuck? Ugh. Negative. Oof. she's getting old enough to wear all her tattoos, full sleeves, full chest, full all over to her neck, down to where I saw full both arms. And it's just that old person, everything's turning blue. It's like a blue paint. She's turning into like an aged Smurf. Looking for LTR, not into playing games. She's 56, looking for LTR. Okay, I guarantee she had an LTR for like 25 years and then gave that up. Not into playing games. Enjoy everything outdoors. Everything. How about we play games outdoors in my garden? No long hair, please, and must be gainfully employed. Young at heart and sense of humor. Is that me or you? Supposed to be young at heart and sense of humor. But at least her neck isn't covered in tattoos. Jesus. Yep. Anyways, well, I think I'm going to call. Let's say great. Let's see what our time rejects is to offer popcorn. Yeah. Oh, wait. Jody, 55. She's only 40 miles away. What does she have to say about herself? Nothing. She just lists all the colleges that she went to. 55. Yeah, LTR 56. Yeah, I know. 7 months. I don't know. Modern medicine, she might be able to carry that on till 80, but, when's the dentures come in? I don't know. That's why I feel sorry for a lot of these women is like, they're like, I'm going to leave my long-term relationship at 42 and I'm going to go out there and find a long-term relationship. I'm like, well, first and foremost, it's not going to happen. I think, Joker on Better Bachelor had, some stats a week or two ago saying that like less than 2% of women over the age of 40 find, long-term relationships. And, at the age of 50, I'd probably half that, less than 1%. And, she's an IT manager. Amy, 51, IT manager. I'm going to actually heart her because this could be a business contact. She's not very attractive, but if it gets me business, let's see. I love to travel by foot, 2 wheels, 4 wheels, wings, rail, and more. I won't play games. Humble and kind is sexy. Sober with a good attitude is a must. Oh, Jesus. If I have to wake up next to this lady, though, that's the thing. I have to make sure my curtains are shut so it's dark. But if I can get business, I'm going to get business. Nope. All right. Wish me luck on that one. Because this one dress, she looks like she's wearing a couch cushion or couch cover. We'll see. Ultimately, I think women value themselves way too much. Even, obviously, over the age of 50, they still have that I'm all of that and you have to serve me attitude. And I'm like, when does women would they lose their sexual ability or their ability to have kids? Probably mid to late 30s, generally speaking. And after, I think, what is it like after the age of 38 or so, the likelihood of a woman getting pregnant and having a child that has something like Down syndrome or whatnot exponentially increases. And for whatever reason that is, genetic defect or whatnot, because those eggs have just been sitting around for, I don't know, 20 years. But and then I don't know. I don't think women understand that if a guy can't have kids and a family with them, that there's not much to look forward to with a woman. I mean, can she cook and clean? Probably not. Well, even like my last girlfriend, she could clean at least. She cooked probably a dozen times over 6 or 7 years. And so I was grateful for the times that she tried, but it was far and few between. Few and far between, I should say. So it wasn't that big of a deal when she's like, "Oh, I cooked dinner." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. It's awesome. It means I don't have to cook anything." But generally speaking, I'd say lose the ability to have kids around 45 to 50. But I mean, how many, like if you look at the IVF, like the IVF starts, women are about the mid 30s, I think, when they start looking at getting IVF because they can't get pregnant. So I think something about mid 30s to late 30s, women start failing to have the ability to have kids. They might have to be able to have kids up to the age of 50. And I don't know why they'd want to do that, because they're like, oh yeah, they're going to take their kids out and they're like, hey, where's your mom? Why are you bringing your grandma here? Oh, that's my mom. It's like she's 70 years old. Oh, what did I do here? Did I share a screen? Oh. But yeah, I don't know. And I've definitely seen some women up here that will flat out tell you that, I'm 38, I've been a career woman my whole life, and I'm certainly looking to settle down and have kids like right now, So, I mean, some of these women definitely ooze desperation. Now, that's funny enough, there's not a lot of those women. I'd say like 1% of the women out here are oozing that much desperation. I'd say 50% of the women are oozing desperation in other ways too. Like, I'm a single mom, I don't have any jobs, I'm 25. I've got 3 kids. I'm like, you're 25, 3 kids, and now you're looking for somebody to take care of yourself or take care of you. It's like, well, not it, but I don't know. And then there's fling. I'll talk about fling next time because I'm getting kind of tired and I'm not sure if I want to go over this because it's just a website of depravity. I'm pretty sure if I wanted to find a girl that I could tie down with fist, I could find it on this website. So 100% confident, but anyways, well, Bacon, I want to say thanks for joining the stream. I think you were by far you were the only contributor I was looking on here. So I do appreciate your time on that and whatnot. I do think I'm going to end this. Yeah, 43. It is tragic. It is tragic that women kid themselves. And, and how many of these profiles, I've been thumbing through these profiles for, the better part of a month now. And how many times I've seen, 45 is the new 25, 50 is the new 25, 47 is the new 25. I'm like, no, it is not. 25 is the new 25. I would almost say maybe like 28, 29 is the new 25 because a lot of 25-year-old girls, between, it seems like the ages of like 20 to 27 or 28, they just let themselves go. They're like, I'm going to be fat and dumpy and dye my hair and cover myself in tattoos, and you just have to take me how I am. And then all of a sudden, they're 27 and they're like, oh, I lost weight and I got 3 fuck trophies. And now I need somebody to take care of me, But, now they're starting to actually look attractive again. You're losing weight, and it might just because you're starving yourself to death because now you have, kids to take care of and you can't afford to feed yourself, and you're too damn busy to do anything else, So, there's always pros. Starvation is a good weight loss program. It's not a good dating tactic, though. But I'd say the culture of women is pure tragedy nowadays, and I also Bacon. I don't know if you ever watch like Good Mother stuff. I debate with her sometimes, or I talk, with her. I certainly believe that, this feral cat attitude of women has generally led to the weakest culture of men that we have as well. And it's sad. It's sad because, I mean, we've got to get these men away from, or these young men away from thinking that they need to seek women, and they need to start seeking greatness. And then once they seek greatness, they'll get women, especially if women are like this nowadays. I'm like, even my old ass, I'm not wanting. I'm certainly not picking up women like I used to, but I'm also certainly not even out enough to try. So, but, you know, c'est la vie. Anyways, I'm going to hey, Bacon, thanks for showing up tonight. I'm going to go ahead and kill this because I'm getting pretty tired. I got an early morning and it is 1:30 here on my time already. So I got to get up here in a couple hours. Very important day tomorrow. So, we'll try to go over some of the next dating profiles next time. Maybe I'll go over this fling. Probably not. Maybe I'll try this, the pond POF. What's that called? You mentioned up here, Plenty of Fish. I'll see if I can find a couple dating sites that don't require you to pay into it as well. And we'll see where it goes from there. And I'm sure the findings will be relatively the same across the board, unfortunately. And that being said, I'm going to go ahead and have a good night. You too, man. Until next time.